The lazy way to get into AI starts with one question. What problem do you understand better than a random software engineer? Because if you can turn that problem into one AI product, you may not need to learn nearly as much as you think. This question matters because non-technical people are trying to compete in the one place where they're the weakest, technical skill. You are trying to outcode people who've been coding for years. But the smarter path is to compete where you already have an advantage. The problems you understand, the workflows you have seen, and the industry knowledge you already bring. So in this video, I'll show you how to use your existing background to build one AI product that creates real proof, instead of wasting months learning random skills, collecting certificates, and still not feeling hireable. I'm Mohit. I'm a lead AI engineer at IBM, and I've helped people with no tech experience get a high-paying AI job in 3 months without spending more than 8 hours per week. Let's start with the biggest problem I see. If you have no coding background, you probably don't know what actually matters yet, because of which everything just feels equally important. Python feels important, machine learning feels important, prompt engineering feels important, every new AI framework like LangChain feels important, and that's how people waste months learning something that doesn't actually make them more hireable. If you are learning without a project, you have no filter. You don't know what to ignore. You don't know what to go deeper on. You don't know what is actually useful for the role you want. Clarity comes from building. Once you choose one real problem and one real product, the learning becomes much easier to prioritize, which starts with using the context you already have. Your old career, your industry, your daily work, the problems you've already seen. That is where your best AI project ideas come from. Your old career can actually be your unfair advantage, because a random software engineer might be better than you at coding, but they probably don't understand your industry the way you do. If you worked in HR, finance, real estate, operations, customer support, or consulting, you have seen problems that a random engineer probably has not. You understand the messy workflows, the edge cases, the complaints, and the decisions people actually make. That context matters. The best AI products don't start with the question, what tool should I use? They start with the question, what real problem is painful enough that someone would actually care if this was solved? And that is where non-technical people often have more insight than they realize. You may not know how to build the product yet, but you may understand the problem better than someone who has just been coding for 10 years. And now you can use AI-assisted coding to bridge that gap and turn that problem into a working product. And now you're not just another beginner saying, I'm passionate about AI. You have proof. You have something specific. You have a reason for someone to believe that you can think through a real AI use case. So instead of trying to learn every tool, every framework, and every concept, the move is to build one thing. But when I say one thing, I do not mean a random chatbot or a tutorial clone. I mean one small but real AI product with 4 parts. First, it should have a specific user, not everyone, not businesses, a specific person with a specific problem. Second, it should solve a specific painful workflow, something repetitive, confusing, time-consuming, expensive, risky, or just annoying. Third, it should use AI in a way that actually makes the workflow better. Don't just insert Claude models everywhere. The AI should reduce time, improve the quality of a decision, summarize messy information, find patterns, personalize the experience, or help someone do something they already care about. And fourth, you should be able to explain why you chose this problem, who the product is for, what the AI is doing, where the AI might fail, how you would test it, and what you would improve next. That is the difference between a random project and real proof. So let's make this real. If you come from HR, finance, real estate, customer support, or any other non-technical background, here's what this could actually look like. If you come from HR, the build one thing might mean building an AI tool that helps employees find the right internal role based on their experience, interests, and past performance. This is much stronger than saying, I built a chatbot, because now you can explain the real problem. Employees do not always know what opportunities exist internally, and HR teams do not have the time to guide everyone personally. That is a real workflow problem. So your AI product is not just a technical project. It's a real solution to a real workflow you understand. If you come from finance, build one thing might mean building an AI tool that reads earnings reports and highlights risk factors, changes in management language, or unusual trends across quarters. And now you can explain what matters in the documents, what the user is trying to decide, and why the AI output is useful. If you come from real estate, build one thing might mean building an AI assistant that helps buyers compare properties based on commute, neighborhood, renovation risk, listing history, and buyer preferences. preferences. This works because you understand the questions real buyers ask before making a decision. The goal is not to build the most complicated AI product in the world. The goal is to build something specific enough that it proves you understand a real problem better than someone who's just copying tutorials. But just building something is not enough. The goal is not to build something that looks impressive at first glance. The goal is to build something that gives someone a reason to trust you. When a hiring manager looks at this project, they're not just asking, does it work? They're asking 4 things. Do you understand the problem? Do you understand why AI belongs here? Can this work beyond a demo? And can you explain your decisions? So if I had to turn this into a simple roadmap, this is what I would do. First, write down the workflows you already understand. No AI ideas or solutions yet, just workflows. What did you do every week in your job? What did people complain about? What took so long? What required too much manual checking? What involved reading, comparing, summarizing, deciding, or searching through information? That is where the ideas usually come from. Then, pick one problem that is painful, repetitive, and information heavy. Painful means someone actually cares if this gets solved. Repetitive means it happens often enough to matter. And information heavy means AI might actually be useful here. Then, ask one simple question. Where could AI reduce time, improve a decision, or make this workflow easier? Maybe it summarizes messy information. Maybe it compares different options. Maybe it answers questions from documents. After that, build the smallest useful version, just the smallest version that proves the workflow can be improved. Then, once that works, add one serious AI component, like RAG or Agentic AI. Then, deploy it to the cloud so it no longer lives on your laptop. Even if you drop coffee on your laptop someday, people will still be able to use your product. And yes, I've dropped coffee on my laptop before. And finally, practice explaining it. Why did you build this? Who is it for? How does it work? Where can the AI fail? How would you test it? What would you improve next? The lazy roadmap is simple. Use the context you already have, choose one painful workflow, build the smallest useful AI product around it, add one serious AI layer, make it production ready, and learn how to explain it like someone a team can trust. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, okay, this makes sense, but I don't want to figure out the project, the roadmap, technical pieces, and the interview process all on my own, that is exactly where you can use personalized mentorship from someone like me, someone who actually works in the industry every single day, and someone who actually helped people with no tech experience get a high-paying AI job in 3 months without spending more than 8 hours per week. Book your free call with me, and I'll help you get clarity on what you should do next.